Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Yeah, clear.
Welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Homebrew, and I'm your host, Jason Petros, a.k.a. Captain American Handsome Man Boy.
Skeleton shirt man.
Yeah, I'm also skeleton shirt. Hey, man, it's Halloween season. I got my spoopy shirts on, and, feeling good about it.
It's not even October.
Well, as far as the recording date of the show, yes, you're correct. But the release date, Warren, it's almost Halloween.
Hey, this weekend is Oktoberfest.
See, there you go. It's my Oktoberfest T-O-B-E-R shirt. It's my October shirt.
Okay. German skull.
Yeah, that's right. As you just hear, Warren is our special guest judge because Brian Schar can't manage his calendar for shit.
I definitely am special.
That's true. Hi, Warren. How are you?
Oh, hi, Jason.
What are your
great.
Credentials?
What are you? Yeah, why are you here? What are your credentials? He was coming here to mop up the foam.
Yeah,
and I was like, hey, it was very much like UHF, and you're our Stanley Spadowski.
I thought you were looking for somebody with no qualifications.
Yeah,
you want to here and judge beer.
Hey, Stanley, you're the host now. Oh, do you mean it, George? Can I still mop the floors?
Yeah, so I finished with the floors,
okay.
So I figured I'd try to have a beer.
Yeah. All right, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, thanks for joining us.
Oh, you are very welcome.
And
he makes beer with the mopping residue.
Right.
That's true.
That's actually how I make it. Yeah. I just mop it up with my beard and then wring it into a glass.
We're not going to waste this.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Warren, to indulge us in your homebrew knowledge.
Oh, yeah, I used to do that at one point.
Indulge us or have homebrew knowledge?
Yes.
Same.
I am sipping a far-ranging beer that has come all the way from the great state of Minnesota. It is a Surly Todd the Axeman. Good stuff. Draft here at the Hop Grenade.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right, we have two beers for you as usual. We have a Vienna Lager, and then we have a BDSM. What is it, Brian?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
The Belgian Dark Strong Ale.
Belgian Dark Strong Ale.
2016. We're actually going to be starting with that. We're going to start heavy tonight.
I'm in for that. I like starting heavy. I like heavy things, man. Like life.
Do you like life?
I love life, man.
Oh,
well, I tolerate life, and then
it doesn't tolerate you. Very well.
No, it doesn't really tolerate. I'm trying to be a nicer person, which is cool.
It's
I guess
good to have goals.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I've already broken most of things in my life. Might as well break more goals. Now, I found this worm on my my tomato plants today. Apparently, it's called a tobacco hookworm. And the thing is huge. It's like 4 inches long. I was, holding on upside down to this branch of my tomato plant. And then when I approach it, it stops eating. And just stops, and it has these eye-like things on the side of its head, and I feel it looking at me, and I'm like, I'm watching too many horror movies because I really expect its head just to turn slowly with maybe a little click or a creak, and then to launch into my eye socket and burrow through my anus.
It'd be your new best friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting, but it didn't. And anyway, so I'm like, oh, I should kill this thing. I'm like, no, why would I do that? I'm trying to be gentler, so I let it eat like a big old branch of food, and then I clipped the branch off and carried it over to my weeds across the yard.
Eat my tomato plant.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're going to eat some shit, you might as well be useful.
Well, it's nice that you forewent food for your family, so that way this little worm could survive.
Tomorrow you'll find that thing right back on your tomato plant.
It went right back to your other tomato plants.
I hope
on the tomatoes.
So. Well, and then I was like, well, there's more holes in. I felt like someone on CSI, because I'm like, well, this plant or this worm just eats like the actual leaf, like just whole, digests it. And then on other plants, I have like holes in leaves. So what's going on? So I start looking around, and there's little poops everywhere. I start looking around. I have a ton of worms, like ton of caterpillars on the rest of my tomato plants. I cut 6 off in 5 minutes, and I know there's more.
So do you have a caterpillar sanctuary going on?
Well, no, those I ate. I just fried them up, and I just cut the leaf that they were on, and then threw it like in the dead zone of my garden. So at least they have some food, and then they can fend for themselves.
And then they get exercise to get back to the rest of the plants.
Right. Yeah. I'm just thinking about them.
That's good.
Yeah. It was weird, man. I don't know. It's just gardens are weird.
The tobacco one had a giant spike on the end. Did you have to keep that away from Alice?
It's a it's a hornworm, a hookworm, or hornworm.
Horny hookworm.
Yeah.
Does it did it try to stab you with it like a scorpion?
No, it didn't. It didn't really do anything. But while we're sitting here before the show started, I'm like showing Warren, and I'm looking it up on Wikipedia while Warren's working. Weird. And it was like they eat tobacco plants and tomato plants, and with the tobacco plants they metabolize the tobacco, the nicotine in the tobacco, right? And they send it through from their gut to like this gland or something, and then they release the nicotine into the air around them, and that keeps them protected from like spiders and stuff like that.
So you can vape off of those things?
That's right.
Their defense is secondhand smoke.
Their defense is secondhand smoke. It's called like toxic halitosis, which I've definitely been next to a few people at a bar that must be hookworms in disguise. It's pretty bad.
Just imagine if you lit it, if you smoked it.
I kind of want to.
So they chew the tobacco plant and then they hollow out your tomatoes and
that's
is that
right.
what they do?
And just fart nicotine.
And they butt it out, dude. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, let's call Ken, shall we?
Sure.
All right. And he has the BDSM,
Belgian strong sadomasochist. Yeah. Something.
Right. Sounds good. Ken, what's up, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, not too bad. We've talked to you before. How's it going?
Oh, it was the best evening of my life.
What, being on this program?
Oh, you can't. Yes.
Damn, boy. All right. Well, hey, man, you're welcome. Not many people get to relive the glory days, but you do.
Absolutely.
Remind us, man, are you in a homebrew club? Because Brian Schar is not here to scream it out at inappropriate times.
Hey, are you in a homebrew club?
That's right. And, yes, I have not over-mineralized my beer either.
Oh, good. Well, that's good news.
That's the other thing he says every time.
It's just what a judge says when you can't think what else might be wrong with the beer.
That's true. Yeah.
It's a little trick.
He messed up somewhere.
Must be the minerals.
Because they're not going to know. You're not going to know, right?
It's all about the minerals, baby.
All right, Ken, tell me about this beer, man.
Well, let me tell you about my homebrew club. I'm in the Star City Homebrew Club, a homebrew guild out of Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay.
And we're amazing.
Done.
The amazing Star City.
Sold. I kind of want to join now.
I gave you the whole spiel last time, so I'll cut it shorter this time.
I appreciate that. All right. That. What's up with this beer? Have you brewed a Belgian Dark Strong before?
This is we do quarterly competitions, and this is a quarterly competition beer we did, or we're actually doing in December. And I brewed it about 6 months ago, and it's 10%. And I think it's really been improving as it's been conditioning. So I'm excited to see what you guys think about it.
Excellent. And have you already entered this into your club comp?
That'll be in December. So
It'll be in
see
December.
What,
okay.
All our rookie judges think compared to what you guys think.
That's right. Well, we have one grandmaster judge and one walking carpet. Yeah. So between the two of them, they'll figure it out. I'm sure.
Rookie Wookie.
That's right. This is mine.
That's a nice beard he's got going on there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Don't give him a big head about
the
it.
Beard.
Yeah. All right, Brian Cooper, please start us off here, and we'll follow up with the lackluster Warren.
Okay, so I am reading through my judging notes from 1 month ago when we initially judged this beer. Brian and I judged it separately.
I'm interested to hear how if it changes.
Yeah,
if anything changes.
I'd asked him to send me his sheet because he's not able to be with us tonight because we're all ready for this one. But anyway, it's had a nice fill, a good strong hiss when it opened. Malty and fairly fruity up front in the nose. The malt smells like dark bread crusts and pleasant and clean. The esters are low and muted. Fairly faint dried cherry-like aroma in there. No hops to note. Didn't get any DMS or diacetyl. It seemed pretty clean. A moderate and very prickly alcohol there poking through. And I would say that it might have smoothed out a little bit because I'm not getting quite as much of that bite, that sharp, like, oh man, there's a little sharp alcohol in there.
It's boozy,
but it is still a little boozy. It's not a wimpy beer by any stretch of the imagination. So appearance wise, it's a nice deep coppery dark amber colored beer. When I poured it initially, they had kind of some just kind of crackly sounding bubbles. They just settled out very quickly. To kind of a swirling ring around the edge of the glass. And the beer I find to be quite hazy, and even after settling for a month, it's not settled. It's pretty hazy. It should be a little clearer than that. Sure, it can have some yeast in there, especially if you get anywhere near the dregs on a bottle of this stuff. I imagine.
Yeah. Maybe
bottle condition. I'm not sure. I didn't really check. It's hard to see in the bottom there, but. We can chat about that. Flavor-wise, it is kind of toasty and fruity. Had a kind of perfumey note to it that lingers on the tongue. There's kind of this interesting little edge to it, and that's kind of still there. And went up into my sinuses. It was almost. At that time, I would say it was almost furniture polish, but I'm not really getting so much of that anymore.
Like Pledge, like a lemony.
Not
thing,
like a lemony furniture polish. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a oil, like a Murphy's oil soap. Kind of like I regularly gargle furniture polish, so I'm quite a connoisseur when it comes to that.
Is that a part of the Master Judge Certification program?
Yes.
Totally ruin your tongue, then you can't taste anymore.
You have to recite hop character of Cascade with a mouthful of Murphy's. But
still something just a little.
I've used that before on like my old house. We had hard befores, and I would use that a lot. So I see what you're saying. It's like a crystal malt
Old English
thing or something like that. Yeah.
It's really, it doesn't taste that solvent or anything like that, but it is. I think it's maybe some combination of the alcohol and the malts that's giving it an interesting edge like that. There's some orangey and cherry-like esters here.
It is interesting.
Definitely balanced to the malt. The finish is quite dry. There's not a lot of sweetness here, there's some higher alcohols in there too. But it seems mostly clean and smooth. Otherwise, it's an interesting. The aroma was fairly promising, and the flavor had some interesting notes in there that played off of those. And going back and forth, it's that nice dark bread crust is still there in the nose, and but I think it is smoothing out a little bit as it ages for sure. So. If it's being judged in a couple more months or something in the late fall or the winter, that might be cool.
Yeah, I think you said December.
But there's a little solventy here, I would say. Mouthfeel-wise, it's pretty highly carbonated, medium high, I guess. But it blew off really quickly, leaving kind of a solventy, slight heat. Not very creamy smooth. It's a little bit biting, but still not really astringent either at all. There's maybe a low malt kind of bite, but it's kind of medium full bodied, and overall, I'd say it's a fairly good Belgian Dark Strong with a lot going for it. But some of the elements that were detracting for me were just a bit odd, and it's freshly stained kind of wood notes emerging in the nose. What's going on here? But those have smoothed out, subsided a little bit, and I think it's just some sharp things when it was younger, maybe. And I'd like to find out, if you just made it when we judged it back in August. So definitely the age is helping it. There's some solventiness here that higher alcohols, so just a little bit over the top. And if you clean those up a bit and make this a lot better beer, they're really taking over here. Otherwise, it's not a bad example of the style. I think that just with this style, you need to really go crazy with massive yeast pitch, taking care of your yeast, making sure that it's healthy and vigorous, viable, happy. That you bring it warm towels and whatever it wants, you give it, and
kiss it on the bottom every night,
build a little beach for it, and I don't know. I don't know. That's not a really good tip, is it?
Well, I mean, it is a
resort for. I'm imagining a yeast resort where all the yeast would hang out. And there's like sugar everywhere. They're just. It
would be in the Maldives.
Yeah,
Maldives.
At the time, I gave it a 29, but I think that was a little harsh.
Yeah.
But there were some sharper things poking through at the time, and when I'm tasting it now, just when we opened it and I started tasting it, I'm like, this is probably more like 33 now to me. It's not. It's very good. It's just the higher alcohol is still there, and I don't know that that's going to subside too much over the course of the next couple of months. There's something definitely really hot. It's not just warm; it's warming and boozy all the way down the throat. So, this is the flavor and the bite of some solventy higher alcohols and alcoholic.
Okay.
Boom.
Very good, Warren.
Yeah. I didn't get to taste it. 2 different ages, but
well, we're higher level than you
right,
are.
Yes, understandably so.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with pretty much everything that Brian just said. To me, I really liked the yeast character. I thought the balance of esters and phenols and everything worked really well, all the way through, aroma, flavor, and everything. Mm-hmm. Definitely was hot, even in the aroma. And a little solventy, kind of like acetone nail polish, slight nail polish remover, slight thing going on there. And as far as all the good things, I echoed Brian, and I ended up giving it a 31.
Did you give some of that orangey fruitiness in there? It's just like this. Like almost like those orange candy chews, like just and maybe some cherry and other kinds of. I
definitely got cherry,
fruit bowl kind of,
Yeah, definitely got cherry and some sweet kind of candied fruit.
Yeah, like a candied fruit
situation going on there.
Exactly.
I don't know that I'd necessarily pick out orange.
Not like sharp, bright oranges, but it's like maybe
but I really enjoy the malt character, and so I think if you can just rein in the fermentation, like Brian said, just take care of the yeast, make sure it's got all the nutrient it needs.
What are the water minerals?
It seems like it was
kidding.
Bottled well. Is this bottle conditioned, Ken?
Yeah, this is bottle conditioned.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with both of you guys. It's in my mind, it's not a Belgian Dark Strong.
It's strong.
Yeah, it's strong. but what it is still really good.
Yeah.
It's like in the Belgian Dark Strongs that I've had, they aren't that kind of candied orangey, darker toned crystal malts like this one is, and I bet it's the kind of yeast that use their esters or whatever, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it's not as like, I don't know, rounded or focused as Belgian Dark Strong should be, but what you've made is a tasty beer, and the flavor combinations that you have somehow magically through this still are very good. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to. I don't know why I felt like stressing that, but it's the solvency aside, like those combos of flavors I haven't had in a Belgian Dark Strong, it's good. I like it. I thought it was pretty good. Let's talk about your recipe real fast. Ken, you want to take us through that?
Sure. Let's see, I started with 14 pounds of Pilsen, 1.5 pounds of Munich, 1.5 pounds of Golden Naked Oats, 0.5 pound of Cara Munich, and 0.5 pound of Special B.
For a 5-gallon batch, sure.
Let's see, 1 ounce of Magnum at 60 minutes, and that was all the hops. And then 1 pound of Belgian candy syrup D45 and another pound of Belgian candy syrup D90.
Yeah, I bet that Special B and those two dark candy sugars are throwing those kind of candied orange kind of things.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
And a little toffee type character.
Yeah. What yeast
apparently put a pound of turbinado or like another sugar in there. So there's 3 pounds of sugars in there as well.
God bless.
Wow. What's your batch size?
It's like a 5.5 pound batch.
Gallon.
Okay.
And I used Belgian ale yeast from Y Yeast 1214 with a 2-liter starter.
Okay.
That's a good starter. I mean, it's a good size.
Any nutrients in the starter?
I put a teaspoon of Y yeast nutrient in with 15 minutes, and I'm sure I put some in the starter also.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there with the answers.
I kind of wanted to get a good Belgian character out of it, so I may have let the fermentation get warm. I'm usually pretty conservative. I don't like to get it above 70, and I think I let it get 73, 74 in this case. And maybe maybe it was too much. Maybe that's why, because I agree it's a little bit solventy, but it's really changed. I think I made this. It's been like 7 months now, and when I first made it, it had a smokiness.
Wow.
That I didn't think should be there, and I was kind of wondering.
You know what?
Yeah,
I have a note in my sheet here that's like I was like, there's something in there that, and to me, it came across as a very light roastiness or ashiness. There was something generally spicy about it, and some kind of phenolics in there that were bothering me a little bit.
I definitely got some spice.
Yeah, it's almost like they're there still, but just lighter now.
Much less than it used to be.
Yeah, it's almost like an oxidized clove or like a hickory something.
Yeah. To me, I just assumed that was just a nice phenol from the Belgian yeast. But it didn't stand out as off-putting to me in this version.
Oh, yeah, it can be kind of gnarly. You can get some interesting.
I could see how if it was younger and more intense, for sure. It would be off-putting.
Yeah, it's definitely improved, and I'm hoping that I guess it's got 2 more months to improve a little more.
Oh, definitely, for sure. My gut feeling is that Ken has too much sugar. What do you guys think? Should he replace some of that sugar with like malt sugar or DME even? I mean, that's 3 pounds of sugar in a 5-gallon batch.
Turbinado.
Would that be throwing any sort of solventy sort of deals?
Well, how many yeast packets did you say you did with a starter? You just said a 2-liter starter, but do you know how many packets you started with?
I mean, I started with one. And just made a nice big starter. I think I had plenty of, I use Beersmith, and it tells me how much to make, and I think I had enough yeast. Whether I took care of it enough, I'm not sure. If I may have let it get a little hot or something like that.
With the viability that I would get with my vials and smack packs, I would always basically double what the calculators would say in order to make sure, especially with a big beer like this, you definitely want to make sure you're throwing in more than enough yeast.
It's kind of hard to overpitch on one of these beers for a 10%.
Yeah, when it's this strong of a beer, you might be messing with the phenol ester balance, but I think you're better safe than sorry when it's coming to a strong ale.
Yeah, but I don't think, to JP's question, I don't think that the sugars are going to be throwing all the higher alcohols so much. Although sometimes the yeast can get lazy, but I mean, that yeast says 68 to 78, so going up into the 70s a little ways shouldn't hurt it too bad if you're not way up in the upper.
I don't know. I just feel like turbinado sugar.
Yeah,
that's not
90 and then 40.
Turbinado. That's the only sugar that's in Beersmith.
Okay.
It's
Demerara
sugar,
sugar,
molasses sugar.
Okay, like Demerara sugar. That's not molasses sugar, but
I think that might be what I'm getting as some of the harsher flavors. The for woody, furniture-y kind of thing, Yeah.
Do you know what grade of molasses it was?
It's not molasses specifically. It's a sugar called succinate, which is kind of like...
you just hit on me, Ken?
Kiss your mother with that
got some of that molasses left over from the process of making the...
Succinate. Yeah, I mean, that's basically Demerara sugar or...
Similar,
or turbinado even, too, right? But I'm trying to look it up right now, and the only thing I see is... it's like a French or something like that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm looking up too. It says homebrewers who use this are geniuses.
Damn, bro.
Okay.
And I think someone's hacked your router.
I think backing off on the sugars though might be not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well,
because bump up the body a little bit.
Well, I mean it's 3 darker sugars.
Yeah, don't get rid of the syrups, but
no, but I mean, should he lighten them up? Do you think? I mean, I feel like there's some component about the sugars it's just too much with the Special B.
No,
I don't know. I feel like you go dark with the grains, and then maybe on like lighter sugars. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know. I haven't made a Belgian Dark Strong in probably 10 years, so I have no. And it sucked when I made it, but
so listen to JP.
So listen to me. But I don't know. Look, all I'm here to do is just to throw the question out and let you guys prove me right.
I did the opposite when I did a couple Belgian Dark Strongs at home. I would do the dark syrup to get the color and stick with the lighter malts. In general, I'm not the biggest Special B fan.
Yeah.
So that's really where you went wrong.
Well, I mean, I wonder if the Special B is throwing some of that orangey thing, because I know if you use too much, it does get weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if any of this helps you at all in your next iteration of this, but...
Is this one you have done multiple times, or is this a first time?
Oh, no, this is my first time, and I'm sure I stole some recipe off Zymergy and tweaked it a little bit to make it my own. But, yeah, I mean, I was surprised how fruity it is now, and I kind of like that. But we'll see what really the only judges I at the end of the day I care about are my homebrew clubs, who are going to all give this a 45, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, you'll have to let us know how it does.
Yeah. Make sure they're sufficiently blasted beforehand.
Yeah, not that you care what we think about it.
That's right. Do you have any questions for these guys, Ken?
Yeah, I do actually want to ask you. So I've started judging myself about a year and a half ago and just became certified.
Oh, congrats, man. Nice.
Don't judge yourself too harshly.
One thing that's I've always been curious about is that, I never see a beer getting above a 42 or a 43 is just outstanding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, do beers ever get near perfect scores? Is there a perfect beer that you would give a 45, 50 or something like that?
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite?
Yeah. In any category.
I've seen a 49, and it was a consensus score between two judges. And I tasted that but it wasn't a beer. It was a
7-Up.
It was a 7-Up.
Four Loko.
No, it was actually a Perry, traditional Perry.
Oh, okay.
Mind-blowingly good.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the cider guys might rate a little higher, because I know I've gotten 47, 48s on the cider side.
Oh, geez.
And I'm pretty sure I've gotten at least one, if not two, 46s on the beer side. So they do happen.
Well, I know, Brian, you've given out, I think we gave out a 44 once, or 45.
Yeah, we get up there sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It does happen, man. I'm in the same boat as you, Ken, where it's I can't get, I got out of the high 30s once. I think I got a 41 is the highest I've ever gotten, and it didn't go anywhere. It didn't advance in anything. So it's hard to believe that they're even out there, the unicorns of the homebrewing world, but people do it.
I've even judged a couple, the Virginia Craft Beer Show, which is the commercial beer, and the North Carolina Craft Beer Show. And even commercial beers, no one's giving 45s and 50s to those beers. So I'm just I want that unicorn. I want to taste it.
Do you think people are being too harsh?
I kind of wonder if we
as a judge, right? I mean,
I think we bias. We all believe that there must be a better beer coming, so we never want to give too high of a score.
Yeah, Brian, do me a favor. Give Ken some sage advice right now about judging. What's your top piece of advice?
Just number one, don't be solely just a fault finder. This beer has a tiny little this. It should be knocked down into the 20s because of that little tiny defect. Use the scoring guide as your spirit guide. If it's exemplifies the style well, requires minor fine tuning, it should be a 38 to 44. If it's generally within style parameters, some minor flaws, then it's 30 to 37. A minor flaw can knock it down into the lower mid 30s. It's not, the beer has to be damn near perfect to get an outstanding. It's just world class example of the style towards the best beer you've ever had in your life. That doesn't happen every day, but I want to leave room for that Yeah, I would score a beer 47, 48, 49. You know, I don't know. I know people that have scored a beer a 50 before, and they felt it deserved it. I wish I'd been there.
What's your highest that you've ever given out?
Probably 47, something like
47?
that.
I think Jamil's given a 50 once, I think he said.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I know Jamil verbally told me that my Kolsch was a 50 when he had it.
No, he told me my stout was a 55. So.
Oh wow! Look at you.
Yeah.
Nice. I told him to be honest, and he was like, "Well, there's nothing I would change about it, so I guess it's a 50."
I guess. See, that's it. When Jamil says that he guesses, it's not. Don't take anything away. Anything else, Ken, or we'll let you go.
Oh no, that's great. Thanks for
cool.
judging my beers, and
of course.
look forward to watching the rest of your show.
Hell yeah!
I'll be happy to give you some more judging advice online as you get off on this adventure. Feel free to hit me up for thoughts and philosophy. I just love typing. It's fun.
He does. He likes to email.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I type back and forth with these people. If anyone wants to get a beer on our show,
these people,
I am Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. It's Brian spelled the right way with an I. And you can get your beer on our show.
Drawing that line in the sand.
That's right. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, everybody, and then we're going to come back. We're going to judge another beer, and then we're going to take another break, and then we're going to talk some more, and then we're going to let you go. So that's what we do, and hold on for it.
Now, back to the examination.
Hey, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Dr. Homebrew. We're about to break into this Vienna Lager. Actually, we'll just do that right now. And let me get Rich on the phone. And we're going to talk to him about his homebrew. And we're going to drink it. And then we're going to laugh at each other's butts.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Drink and look at each other, not say anything.
That's true.
You have to watch the live stream to know what we're thinking about this beer.
That's right. Rich, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. How are you guys?
Not too bad, not too bad. Hard to beat this. We're just drinking homebrew and talking to homebrewers. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hey, I love it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for sending in beer. So do me a favor, how long have you been homebrewing? Tell us a little bit about your background and what made you brew this beer?
Yeah, I actually started homebrewing in the early 90s. And I didn't really stick with it, had life. And so then,
you had life?
What's that?
I've had the case of that lately myself.
And stuff like that. So I had a kid and had a career and still do.
Okay.
But anyway, I've got more time on my hands now that. And I've kind of, in the last few years, just re-gotten into it.
Awesome.
And then...
well, welcome back.
And it also turns out that, looking into my heritage, I've got brewers in the family going way back to Oslo, Norway. So that was kind of another instigation to get back into it.
Do you have any old recipes in the family that you're using or trying to translate or whatever?
No, I wish I did.
Yeah.
But no.
All right, well, they probably sucked anyway, right? I mean, let's be honest.
There's a reason they stopped.
Yeah, right. There's a reason they stopped homebrewing.
Did they use Quebec yeast?
That's right. Exactly.
So we are doing a Vienna Lager here. Have you brewed a Vienna before?
No, this is my first one.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Warren?
Yes.
Why don't you, first of all, we should ask Rich if he's offended that Brian Schar isn't here and that if it's okay if Warren takes his place and judges his beer.
I'd be honored if Warren would taste and judge my beer.
Honored. Definitely not the direction I was hoping that would go.
No, you were caught off guard by that answer.
I definitely was. If I wasn't sitting down, I would have fallen right back.
Right.
Go ahead, Warren. Please start us off here, unless you need Brian to go.
Well, Brian writes a lot more eloquently than I do, so
you can be just as.
He's also taller than you,
right?
Yeah.
He's got everything going for him. He's a total package.
That's true. Go ahead, Warren.
So I thought the aroma on this beer was really nice. Very malty up front. Little hints of toast and caramel. I didn't get really any hop aroma, but very clean fermentation. Very clear appearance as well. Nice copper color with a off-white head that has some staying power. Even with my oily mustache, there's still a bit of foam on the beer.
All right.
The flavor was not as complex and intense as the aroma for me. Still a nice dry finish. Slight bias towards the bitterness, which is not necessarily out of style, but the bitterness had a harshness to it that I'm not sure what the cause was. It didn't seem like it was too many IBUs or anything, but I don't know if it was a mineral issue or maybe just the hop variety. It was coming across a bit aggressive to me for the style.
Okay.
The mouthfeel was definitely on the lighter side for the style, like almost borderline thin for me, but still had a nice creamy character to it, nice carbonation. So, yeah, I thought the beer was well done. I definitely would not be disappointed with it if I had ordered it at a bar.
Right.
So I gave it 36.
Okay, awesome.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, want to echo a lot of the same things here. Just a nice toasty malt up front with the bread crust-like notes. Seems very cleanly lagered. The nose, again, I agree, was just beautiful. Just a little low spicy hop in the background. No esters noted, no DMS or acetaldehyde, any of those. Just clean and inviting. I really like the aroma. And I really also like the appearance. It's a beautiful, deep amber, very clear, some kind of orangey highlights, a very finely formed head of creamy, fine off-white bubbles that persisted well. So, yeah, good job there. Flavor-wise, I do agree that when it hit the flavor, there's something that it's the flavor. Don't get me wrong; these are fine points, but the flavor is good. It wasn't like the promise of that aroma was a little, slightly tarnished when I got to that flavor, and it wasn't like, oh my God, this is horrible. There's something really wrong with it. But I'm trying to pick out what it is. So again, pleasant, malty, rich beer with toast, a hint of sweetness.
It tastes sort of like Splenda.
Like artificial sweetener thing.
Yeah, it's that kind of like weird sweet
like
to
odd
it.
Sweetener thing.
Yeah.
So that's
like a sweet and low.
An edge to it that is a little different. It finishes semi-dry, kind of a medium-low bitterness, just enough to balance there. The balance is to malt. So there's probably got some tiny hints of some stone fruit character in there, and there's kind of a sharp malt thing in the aftertaste, and I think it's coming from the malt, whatever that is, along with maybe kind of a bit of a minerally bite that's playing off the malt and the bittering hops in kind of an odd way there. So, but otherwise, it's a nice clean lager and very enjoyable and drinkable. Mouthfeel-wise, medium body, just a touch of a biting, kind of grainy, just very light astringency. Not like, wow, that's, harsh and extremely biting, but it's not like this beer should be smooth, really just a smooth lager, just feels smooth on the tongue and go down super easy. I'm holding the sheet right in front of the camera. Bevo hates me right now. It's not very creamy as right I would like it to be, and just there's no alcohol warmth, shouldn't have any of that. Medium carbonation where it should be. Overall, it's just a very enjoyable Vienna Lager. Very excellent malt character, especially in the nose. Super inviting aroma overall. It's just something a bit rougher than hoped in the flavor and the mouthfeel. And again, these are just fine points, but because overall it is very good. On the higher end of very good for me. I landed at a 37 on this one. So, it's... this you could enter this competition. You could rebrew this, and I don't know. I'd like to know what you did with your water, or if you have any thoughts on what might be and ingredients. What might be poking out there in the flavor. So, can we talk about your recipe?
Yeah, I guess I'll start off. I was worried that it would suck a lot worse with shipping it in the heat wave.
Yeah, there's that story.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just as a quick caveat, when these beers arrived on my porch, it took about a minute for me to go get them, and I picked up the box, and it was in the full sun. But I'm like, okay, whatever. I take them out and I'm unpackaging them because I know it's really hot. And the bottles are warm to the touch. And whenever you have a warm beer bottle that's warm to the touch, you know you're in trouble. So I got my laser surface thermometer out and I pinned it against the bottle, and it was 96 degrees.
So kudos to your packaging, because I don't get any oxidation or
or like
severe
raising
like that.
Right, there's not a whole lot of heat damage kind of thing coming through, although maybe we are seeing that and we just haven't seen it displayed in these sort of ways, like the weird sugar, the weird pokey bits.
Yeah.
But you would have you had to tell me twice that this was a heat damaged beer, because I mean, what do you think the liquid was inside of that stupid thing?
Yeah,
at least 96.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I was worried because I was listening today to an old interview with Charlie Bansford, and he was one of the things he was saying is the one most important thing about stale beer and stuff is and oxidation is make sure you package it and you control the temperature. And so I was going, oh no.
Yeah. Drinking it right. Real fast, it almost has like a cidery thing. And when I'm smelling it, I can smell a little like green apple. So I wonder if it's just a fermentation thing that maybe combined with the heat is sort of throwing this weird. But anyway, I've interrupted Rich enough. Tell us about your recipe.
Okay, so we're about 70% Vienna malt and 20% Pilsner, 2-row, and 5% Munich. And then I had a little bit, 8 ounces of Melanoiden malt, 4 ounces Carafa 3. So that's my grain bill.
Are they Is it German malt or is it U.S.?
They're all Weyermann.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all German. Hop schedule is had a ounce and a quarter of Magnum for 60 minutes, and then had a 1 ounce of Czech Saaz at 5 minutes. And then my yeast was Global Imperial yeast, and had a good starter with that.
I've never heard of that. There's so many yeast companies now. You could just be making that up, and I have no idea.
That's the one that comes in a can, I think.
That's Imperial. Even they changed that.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
okay.
One question I had: do you know was it Weyermann's normal Pilsner, or was it one of their extra light Pilsners or Bohemian?
It was. I don't.
Why does that matter?
Because when I in my Vienna, because they were out one time at BSG, I normally use just their standard pills. I used the extra hell, their light Pilsner. Yeah, and it had an interesting honey sweetness.
Okay,
in there, very faint. Because I think I was maybe using a little bit more than 20%, maybe 25% of the Pilsner malt, and it had a bit of an interesting honey sweetness to it from the extra light Pilsner.
Okay,
so maybe try just using a standard Pils, if that was what happened here.
Yeah.
Okay, how about your yeast starter and fermentation and water adjustments? If you've done any of those?
So my I've got well water that's not real good.
Well,
so I use RO, and I treated it with 2 teaspoons of calcium chloride.
Mm-hmm. Is that enough? Do you guys think?
I'm sorry.
Just need a little calcium. Keep that.
Yeah, but for
those enzymes happy.
But RO water, I mean, just to add a little. I mean, do you think he needed a little more? How do you think his water was, Brian? Was fine?
Well, I like using the calcium chloride. You wouldn't want to put a bunch of sulfates in there.
Right. Yeah.
You want to maybe enhance the sweetness. So, yeah, I don't have any problems so far.
Okay.
That was all you did, though? Just a little calcium chloride?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was it. I checked the pH, and it was, the mash was right at 5.2, so it was exactly where I wanted it to be.
Good.
So,
and it depending on how you clarified it, you didn't seem like you had a flocculation issue, which would mean you'd had too little calcium.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you just cold crashed it. You didn't filter this, did you?
No, I didn't. One of the things that wasn't planned was my fermentation. I use a chest freezer, and chest freezer was broken, and so my first 24 hours, it started at 65 degrees fermentation. So it was going pretty good for the first, once it hit the ground running.
Yeah. I didn't feel like I got any fruitiness in the nose, but I did feel I got a little something in the flavor that was like just a little edge of a fruitiness, kind of stone fruit.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of I steadily dropped it down to I let it go for about at 50 degrees for a couple weeks, and then I dropped it down to 45, and then ultimately 35 for 4 more weeks. So it's got a few weeks of aging in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice lagering.
Yeah, it's very, very smooth lager characteristics.
Well, how can we help Rich bump his score up a little bit, fellas?
Don't ship your beer to JP.
Right, yeah.
As if I can control the summertime.
Or put dry ice in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is just yesterday I got results from a regional competition I entered it in, and actually it got first in its class.
Oh,
nice!
It came in at 41.5. So I'm still wondering if that temperature just did throw something off.
Yeah,
it sounds like it.
So
I don't know.
One thing for me that I really noticed made a huge difference in my Vienna. That small amount of Carafa, I used Carafa 2 dehusked, might help with the kind of astringent bitter characteristic that Brian and I are picking up on in the finish. One thing that I did is instead of removing that, or even if you don't want to change to the dehusked version, instead of mashing that in, just throwing it in during the sparge. And you still get the color, and you still get a small amount of the flavor, but you don't get anywhere near the same bittering characteristics that you would from that dark malt.
Okay, that's good.
What if you just took that Carafa and just set it like outside of the tubing that the beer is passing through,
That's right.
and like not even let the beer touch it? Would that help even better?
Then you would mark him down on appearance because the beer would be too light.
Too light, yeah. Sorry.
Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking. The specialty malts I threw in my batch sparge.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a batch sparge on this, and so that's when I think I threw my Melonwaden and my Carafa.
Sometimes I'll throw those in at the very end of a mash too, and then just sparge through them, and yeah.
I mean, maybe switch to the dehusked version then if you're already doing that.
You can give that a shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would really like to try this beer not heat stroked.
Yeah.
So maybe you try it again or whatever. We can help you out with that. But do you have any questions for the guys, or are you pretty much well sorted out?
No, I'm well sorted out. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys your feedback.
Of course.
Nice job on the beer, and so it definitely was at a disadvantage here with what happened there, but.
No, I mean I'm more pleased with how it came out on your end than I expected. I was kind of bracing for something really bad. So.
What are you using to bottle? I mean, you've done a very good job keeping oxygen out. Obviously, is it do you have a beer gun?
I fill it in my mouth and I spit it into the bottle.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was a beer gun. Yeah, it was Blickman beer gun. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Purge those bottles. Yeah.
All right, Rich. We'll let you go, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much again.
Okay. Hey, thanks, you guys.
All right, man. Talk to you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Very good.
Not too shabby.
An award-winning beer.
Here we go.
Sure.
We're going to take another break, and we're going to come back, and then we're going to get out of here. Hang tight.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Kings.
The leader in affordable, high-quality kegerators is here. Introducing Komos, the kegerator designed with serious beer drinkers in mind. It features an all-stainless steel draft tower, a major upgrade over traditional chrome-plated brass towers, and Komos keeps your new tower cold with their air-cooled tower fan, wrapping your beer lines in frigid coolness. Your beer is poured from innovative forward-sealing faucets that don't leak, so they stay cleaner for longer. Dual gas inlets on the rear of the fridge allow you to run both CO2 and nitrogen gas. Serve your beer with CO2, serve your kegged wine, or even cocktails with nitrogen. The digital temperature display has the largest range available, allowing you to use the Komos Kegerator for fermentation if you need to. And now Komos Kegerators ship with duo-tight draft fittings for that click-to-connect assembly we've all dreamed of. Buy direct from KomosDraft.com and receive free shipping on your order. That's KOMOS Draft.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
Hey, thanks for sticking around, everybody. There I am.
Hello.
I'm not very good at pushing buttons.
But you stuck around anyway.
But I stuck around anyway. All right, well, hey, man, thanks to Ken and thanks to Rich for sending in beers. If you want to send in beers to this show, send your information to Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com, and he will respond to you far faster and far more kindlier than at me.
Mm-hmm. You are new to this kindlierness.
Yeah, well, right. Well, it's not.
Kindlier?
Kindlierness.
Kinder.
Kindlier. I like my version better.
Okay.
Yeah, because it takes longer to say.
It suits you.
Thank you.
It'll be the longest email
Yeah. So anyway, do that, and we'll have your beers on the show. That'll be cool, too. Some people, I'm not going to name any names. Well, I mean, I guess I will. I think this was from Kevin from last month's shows, sent us some beer.
Yeah.
Some commercial beer.
Pills.
So we're going to drink that. We should just open that right
Pilsner.
now.
Yeah. It's a Pills from KC Beer Co.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
So I apologize for... What's up, Bev? You all right?
Oh, no, I'm still broken from what I was telling you about earlier, and I just decided I needed a pen. I'm just talking to myself. It's cool.
Oh, okay. All right. That's delicious.
Pilsner style.
Yeah. I apologize. I didn't bring this to have on the show, and I bet if it was Kevin, let's just pretend it is.
Nice little whiff of sulfur right off the bat there.
But he's like, JP probably kept it all for himself. That's pretty tasty. Who's it from again, Brian?
KC Beer Co. It's Kansas City. It's their Pilsner style golden lager. It's just called the Pils.
I mean, it's a little almost too suntan lotion for me, but I would sit there and order multiple pints of this. 100%.
Yeah.
95%. It's good.
Yeah. The sulfur is a bit strong in the aroma. Lucky it's not there in the flavor, but I definitely get the suntan lotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, thanks, Kevin. And if it wasn't you, thanks anyway.
It's packed in May, so it's like right at its best by 9/2/19. So
that's held up pretty good.
It's held up very well for,
you know what I mean?
For being just a little past
for being so light too, right?
No serious package defects.
Yeah. Speaking of package defects, I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, drop off a package.
I don't know. I don't really. I just felt like it was funny. All right, if you're listening live for whatever reason, stay tuned. We'll be right back with another episode of Dr. Homebrew. We're talking more Bell's clones like we did last month, so that'll be a good time. And I think we have some commercially. I don't remember if we do. Okay, all right. Yeah. So we're doing that. If you're not listening live for whatever reason, go find a different show to listen to on the Brewing Network. You have The Session, and you have Heads and Tails, which might actually drop an episode here at some point soon.
What?
Maybe. Whoa, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. And until next time, go kiss the guy behind you at the grocery store and just be kinder to one another. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's going to get you in jail.
Maybe. Kindness. Or in love.